Well, we're starting off with a bit of news that affects you and me. So we suggest you increase the volume of your TV and put the remote aside. It's about the bread that we consume daily. So if you're planning to have that toast today, we recommend you do not. A recent study has found that 84% of bread as well as bakery samples collected from the national capital alone contain elements that cause cancer. Watch this report carefully for more details.
The bread you eat, in one form or the other, the true food of India's masses, consumed daily by millions in the country. But is it really the reassuring comfort food you think it is? Well, what if someone told you bread could be a cause for cancer? Except it isn't just anyone saying that, it's a study by the Center for Science and the Environment. The renowned agency that has pioneered studies of food contamination in India and environmental degradation. Based on analysis of 38 samples of bread collected in Delhi, including white bread, brown bread, multigrain bread, pav buns and pizza bases, the study found that 84% of samples contained high levels of potassium bromate and potassium iodate, both considered very toxic chemicals.
Both of these chemicals for several decades have recommended not to be used by WHO and the scientific committees of WHO.
But here's the clincher. While the chemicals were banned in most countries, including the European Union, Canada and China over the last few decades after their residues were found to be cancer-causing, India's Food Safety and Standards Authority permits the use of both substances in bread making in the country with very few limitations.
These agents in smaller quantities are not harmful and carcinogenic, but the standardization of this word small goes to infinitesimally small, which is very difficult to measure.
The government is seized of the matter and will take appropriate necessary actions which will be needed. But very soon we'll be coming out with a conclusive report on this.
Thousands of tons of bread are made and consumed every day in India. The question now is, could these new findings threaten its place on your dining table?
These humble breads that you and I consume on a regular basis can potentially lead to cancer. Well, that's the study conducted by the Center for Science and Environment suggests. And the reason being the two chemicals that are internationally banned but not here in India. Even as the Union Health Ministry has ordered a probe, now the challenge is to make sure that the people don't panic. Reporting from Delhi with Pradeep, Aninda Banerjee for India Today.
Joining us live now is the Deputy Director of the Center for Science and Environment, Mr. Chandra Bhushan. Mr. Bhushan, thank you so much for speaking to India Today this morning. Your center has in fact found in its study that most of the bread brands as well as food items that are sold possibly by fast food chains contains cancer-causing chemicals. And this no doubt has shocked everyone. But I'm sure the question that's looming in everyone's minds is what really is in that bread which really makes it so dangerous?
Well, we tested 38 samples of commonly sold bread in Delhi, and for two chemicals, potassium bromate and potassium iodate. Potassium bromate is a class 2B carcinogen, which means that it is a possible cancer-causing agent to humans. And excess use of potassium iodate can cause thyroid problems. So both these chemicals have been banned in many countries. Many international agencies, including WHO, FAO, Codex, advise against use of these chemicals in bread and bakery products. Our study establishes that in about 80% of the samples, both potassium bromate and iodate was detected, which is bad for consumers because, as I said, one is a possible cancer-causing agent and another can cause thyroid problems.
All right. So as you pointed out, Mr. Bhushan, potassium bromate, you're saying it's a possible cancer-causing item, and besides that, it's known technically as a genotoxic carcinogen. Now, as you also pointed out, the WHO has said that very clearly something like this as a flawed treatment agent is not really appropriate. It's been banned in so many countries, the UK, Canada, Australia, just to name a few. So why really has action not been taken against this particular substance in India?
Well, this is the question that you need to ask FSSAI, but I want to say here that I have just heard from other news channels that FSSAI has agreed to ban potassium bromate and issue the notification very soon. And it has also agreed to investigate and see if it wants to ban potassium iodate. So it wants to do some study before it takes its decision on potassium iodate. But I want to say that most countries banned it in between 1992 and 2012. India should have banned before, because this chemical, potassium bromate, is something that shouldn't be there in bread. And also that the alternatives are there. Alternatives are easily available, are economically viable. It is not going to increase the price of our bread if we move to safer alternatives. So this should have been done quite some time back.
So, you know, when you did publish this study, Mr. Bhushan, we were of course shocked. The entire country has woken up to possibly bread also causing cancer. Many of them have now decided to stay away from it. But when you got the results of your particular survey, did you then go ahead and contact the companies whose products were found with the substance potassium bromate, or for that matter potassium iodate? What was their response thereon?
Yes, we did. We did contact all the companies whose products were tested by us. 6 companies got in touch with us. They reverted back. Britannia was one company which reverted back to us. So did Yum brand, which sells KFC chicken. McDonald's got back to us. And all these companies claimed that they do not use potassium bromate or iodate. They gave us in writing.
Okay.
But the results are in front of you. Our test shows, and we have not only confirmed in our lab, we have reconfirmed in a third-party lab that there is presence of potassium bromate and iodate in these products.
And what your result, Mr. Bhushan, has led to is the fact that the government has also woken up to this possible crisis. The health minister has said that he's also spoken to his officers. He's asked them to check with these companies as well as to whether they use potassium bromate. So possibly we can expect some sort of a result, some sort of substantial proof then as to whether they use it or no. He's also, of course, said that there's absolutely no need to panic. The government will step in and ensure that prompt action is taken. Do you feel that possibly your revelations has already created panic? It's a little too late for such a warning to come through.
First of all, as the idea of releasing the study was not to create panic but to create awareness among the consumers. And we think that it is an important study to increase awareness, because bread is something that we eat every day. These are the chemicals that shouldn't be there in our products, in our food products. And I welcome the minister's interest in this subject. But I also want to say that FSSAI, as I said, has already decided to ban potassium bromate, which is a good news. We welcome it.
And you know, Mr. Bhushan, let me also highlight here some of the points that have been made in your study. Now, we understand potassium bromate and iodate has been found in sandwich bread, in paos, in buns, as well as white bread. And besides this, in very 5 popular multinational fast food outlets which sell pizzas, burgers, other fast food items. These have also tested positive with potassium bromate, or for that matter potassium iodate. So are you as such saying that no product is safe, even if we take it from these fast food outlets? Are they no longer safe to eat from?
First of all, the safety is decided by how much chemicals you are exposed to. So in our result, in our test, we found certain category of bread where we found large quantities of potassium bromate and iodate, and in certain products where the quantities were less, and in certain products where we didn't detect these chemicals. So I'm not going to say blanket that that all the breads are unsafe. For example, we found larger quantities of these 2 chemicals in white bread, sandwich bread, pav and bun, whereas lesser quantities were found in brown bread, whole wheat bread. So there are different levels of safety, you can say. Where we have found less amount, those are less unsafe. Where we have found high amount, those are more unsafe. But nevertheless, the idea is that these chemicals shouldn't be there in this product. And the quicker we get rid of these chemicals in bread and bakery products, the better it is for the public health in the country.
All right, Mr. Bhushan, last question to you. Have you conveyed your findings, your result findings to the government? Have you submitted a report to them as well? And really, what do you expect from them? What do you think would be appropriate action on the government's part?
We have conveyed, and as I said, that we expect government to quickly ban potassium bromate and iodate in bread and bakery products. I'm happy to hear back from FSSAI that they have already decided to ban potassium bromate, and they will investigate potassium iodate further. Our hope is that with the body of scientific evidence that is there, they will also soon ban potassium iodate in bread and bakery products.
All right, Mr. Bhushan, thank you so much for speaking to India Today. We only hope that the government as well as the FSSAI now wakes up to this particular alarm and ensures potassium bromate as well as iodate is banned in the country.